whistle this week is a homemade PEX pipe whistle that I made myself. PEX pipe is similar to PVC in some ways, resistant to temperature change. It is a little softer material, and it's easier to work with, and it will actually last longer while also not leaching out any chemicals when exposed to temperature or sunlight. So it's kind of superior in some ways, and then being that it's a little more flexible, it might not be superior in others. It depends on your opinion. This particular one is Sharkbite brand. It's a kind that I got at a home and garden store. I used a piece of dowel for the block. You can kind of see that it sticks out just a little bit below my headpiece. And I used no glue or chemicals in making this whistle. I have two little eye screws here that hold this piece and the dowel in place. Now the windway is a little larger than I would have liked, and this whistle uses more air than I currently tolerate. But for one of my first successful whistle building projects, it sounds pretty good and it plays pretty well. It just requires a lot of air. The pros of doing something like this are that A, you get the satisfaction out of building your own. The cost involved is like $2 and change for a 6-foot piece of PEX pipe, and then probably another couple of dollars for the dowel, and then I had some eye screws lying around. So I probably only have about $4, maybe $5 US in this, and then another 3 or 4 whistles I managed to make out of the same length of pipe. Now as far as drilling your holes, that is a matter of mathematics. There are formulas that can be found online. There are charts and whistle hole calculators. You're going to have to search and find that stuff yourself. The websites that I used to use don't exist anymore, so I'm sure there are other people that are doing this. I've just gotten to the point where I can kind of eyeball, based on other whistles that I've already made or other whistles that I've already had, where the holes should be. Generally, the larger the hole is, the higher the pitch change is going to be. So if you drill the hole and you're not getting the pitch that you're looking for, then you're just going to widen the hole until you get that pitch. The reason for the spacing has to do with the overall intonation and how everything is tuned together. But in a homemade whistle, it's not as important necessarily as it might be with brass. I mean, you're probably not going to record this. You're going to practice with it and love it for what it is. The pros of this particular whistle are that I actually like the tone. It's oddly bright for such a soft material. PEX pipe tends to make instruments that sound kind of bamboo-like, and this one came together pretty well. It's also fun to have one in this color and with the markings still on it. Also, having these little eye screws on either side of the head, as well as the way the head is shaped, means it won't roll off the table. And you can also put it on a little chain if you want and hang it around your neck, I guess. Cons of this whistle are the windway is too large and it uses more air than I currently possess in my lungs to get through the tunes that I demoed on the beginning of this video. It was very difficult actually to get through Rights of Man. Rights of Man is difficult to breathe all the way through on a whistle with low breathing requirements. So something that requires a lot of air really makes it a challenge. It also does not have perfect intonation. These top 2 finger holes are a little too close together, which causes some issues. But overall, it was a good project. It sounds good. It's virtually indestructible in terms of, you can probably run over it with the car and it'll be fine. It's not reactive to temperature or humidity or anything in really any way other than what might affect the piece of wood I'm using as a block. Is it a good beginner whistle? Not really. I mean, I don't see a beginner needing to do this, needing to deal with adjusting to the changes in playing technique that are required to really get a handle on such a specific instrument. And it's really more of a hobby kind of thing for someone like me, someone like maybe you, who collect a bunch of whistles and have always wanted to build your own and wanted to have some quick success with materials that aren't difficult to work with, unlike drilling through brass or copper or dealing with 3D printing, which is expensive if you don't already have the 3D printer. It was a lot of fun building it. I've built others in various keys out of similar materials. I've done the PVC thing. There's a lot of ground to cover with building your own instruments. That was our whistle of the week, the homemade PEX D whistle. Thanks for watching again. I look forward to seeing you next week when we play something completely different.